Hello friends, in this video I'll be trying to do a quick random demonstration. When I say random, I don't have very clear reference or idea. I'm just sketching some idea from my mind. Okay, it is having some piece of land and some foliage, etc. Some maybe distant trees, okay, some vertical trees, etc. And so these things are may not be permanent. I might change. I have some figures in my mind. Okay, this again is something that might get changed. Okay, so it may not be the final version. This is just for starting. We should have some idea. Okay, so without any idea, we may start. But I thought of getting some vague ideas to start. Okay, just do the wash now. I have some warm reddish color in my mind today. Usually I don't use this color scheme, so it is kind of crimson lake, and below that is raw sienna, so some loose wash, some wet on wet effect. Okay, some a different mood I wanted to create. Something purplish at the top, indicating some blue. Okay, some violet and mauve kind of color mix. Okay, I'm allowing to merge, and some suggestion of clouds. Not sure. This is just the beginning wash. A lot of these might get lost when we do the details, right? Some distant foliages I'm thinking of to do it in little violetish blue color. Okay, and I just wanted to suggest the shape, and since it is wet at the background, it might all get merged. You may not get any precise shape. Okay, so at the bottom of it I'm not very clear what to do. So might be I'm planning some rocks or some piece of land at the bottom. So I'm being little precise when I reach to the bottom end. On the right side of it, I'm going for even lighter colors, maybe little warmer as well, because I'm getting the idea of some play of light at the right, around the center. So something even lighter to get the feel of distance around that. I'm trying to get some feel of some suggestion of maybe some rock or rocky land, etc. there. Not sure. Okay, not getting very clear idea, but some suggestions for now, and we can define it later. And the bottom portion I wanted to make piece of water, maybe water body, and some warmer reflection of the light above. Okay, it seems to be a little bit too much of warm now. Usually what happens with watercolor is it gets much lighter when it dries. Okay, so some suggestion above for the rocks. Some whites are left because I wanted to show some piece of rock within the water. Just the idea. Okay, and something some color to reflect that of the sky above, some reddish color, crimson sort of color, and then the darker sky reflection sort of thing. So usually when it comes near to the bottom, maybe very close in the foreground, we make it little darker. Okay, now I think we should go for some reflection on the left side foliage. So a little darker in color. Usually when the object is lighter in color, you will find the reflection little darker. Don't quote me that if you find a situation where that is not followed, but that is a general thing that I have observed. Okay, so a little darker reflection, And reflection, it is a good idea to make vertical strokes usually. Okay. I think some colors could be lifted out to enhance the play of light. Okay, it is just, I'm using a damp brush. Damp brush means you clean the brush and squeeze out the water, and then it becomes damp. Then you press it little hard to lift up some colors. Okay. So I'm showing some light color in the center and its reflection. Let us see how it works. To create some interest, sprinkling of some water. Okay. See, these will merge over a period of time. So now we have to keep it for drying because it is too wet. For adding more details, I wanted it should be dry. Okay, I have kept it dried. So I took some break and got it dried. Okay. Now around the center, I wanted to make it more warmer. Wherever I wanted to suggest the fall of light, I wanted to make it warmer, so I am taking some orangish yellow color around that area. So for the rocks, top of rock where light might go and hit, okay, from the center light source. And even I have a plan of making some foliages above and the reflection below, and enhance the feel of light. I'm not getting very clear idea today how the rock should be. I'm just thinking within my mind and trying to define at the same times. In fact, it's a risky thing. It may not come out good, but see, it's all fun. You are doing something dynamically and trying to generate some idea in your mind and trying to apply those idea all on the fly. It's something fun. It might fail, it might succeed. Okay. In either case, I prefer to treat them as success. Even if you think the result is not good, you made an attempt, you got something, and probably you understood that it didn't work well, and you have learned something in that process. Okay. This is another piece of rock that is in the water body. Okay. So let us see how does it work. I'm just going as my mind says. So these are some foliages I wanted to do, and to match with the color scheme and the source of light, I have made it little orangish foliage, and I will make it cooler when it goes away from the light source. Okay. And I'm lifting up some colors. The other foliages, the surrounding foliages, I'm making a little darker in color. Okay. So that around the center we get more warmer steps, and we get a feel that more light is coming from the light source. This is just developing an idea, so I am not looking for anything that is very precise now. These are the foliages on the other side, and I'm sprinkling some bluish wash, okay, to get some interest. Okay. As I was telling, this is I'm not really planning for a beautiful painting here. So this I'm just trying to maybe have a dialogue with myself while painting, and I'm planning to get some workable idea, and if it comes out good, maybe I will transfer it into a bigger scale work with more precision and details. Right now it is just getting some idea of my own. Maybe I might have seen these kind of works somewhere else or somewhere in the past. See, whenever you see imagination, it will in fact contain lot of recollections. So whenever you write something or paint something, some of the things from your memory will automatically come. It may not be totally random. Okay, so I'm trying to get some idea, some foliages there, and maybe some branches now for those foliages to connect them so that they become some convincing kind of trees. Okay. Some branches on the other side. While making the branch also, you should take a similar color so that the lighting at the center is a little bit enhanced. Okay. Some marks here and there, some accents. See, all those reflections whatever we have made earlier, those are very light now. We have to reinstate those things. Okay. As I was telling, the watercolor dries very light. Okay. Whatever watercolor dries very light means most often what you will find is that while painting, when you apply the wash, you think that it is very dark, but when the paper dries, when the washes dry, you will see that the color went very light. Okay, it happens very frequently. So we say watercolor dries light. So we have to many times reinstate the initial washes that we do. I'm just applying some plain water very softly so that the settled pigments doesn't get dislodged. And some reflection for the right side, orangish foliages above. It's a good idea to paint the reflection in vertical strokes. Okay, and reflection, try to make the reflections, particularly the softer reflections, you try to make it on a wet surface. So if your paper is not wet, wet it with clean water and then paint the reflection. Okay. There is some water above the rock, so I'm trying to paint reflection there also. I don't know if it is going to come out as convincing, but I feel it might. See, when you do watercolors, what happens is that there is a stage where you start doubting yourself, doubting your work. You will start getting doubts. This is going wrong probably, this may not work. Those kind of issues will come, and it comes with most of the works. So you have to still continue believing you and assuming that things will go fine, and then continue with your watercolors. And when you add the details, usually things comes good. So this is dry now, and we can add more details. What I'm planning is some piece of land in the bottom left corner, and some trees coming from the left bottom. So first creating the tree branches or tree trunks, and when these tree trunks are made, around the light hitting area again I have applied some orangish tone, and the branch away from the light hitting area I'm making it little darker. I'm not. This is not precise. Okay, just making I'm making some random tree trunks, very lean, very thin kind of trees, not very mature trees. Just I wanted to add some vertical element and make the composition little interesting. That's it. Okay. Okay. Sorry for that bell sound outside. I don't have a soundproof recording facility. Now some piece of land here also, and that land is also reflecting light. I think the color I am applying is little too bright. Usually I am not a big fan of using very bright colors, but sometimes I get curious and go for this brighter colors. Some piece of land at the lower bottom corner. This is not neat, so I'm not going for any neat works, because most of the things I'm doing with a single brush in a what do you call it as, in a rough approach. Okay, and this is a small piece of work. If you really ask me the size of it, it is less than A4 size. So you know what the size is. It is slightly smaller than A4 size. Okay, so you cannot get very detailed work in such a small size. Okay, but you will get good ideas. You can develop good ideas. So I think this is some idea that is coming out reasonably convincing, and I might even port it into a bigger scale with a little bit more details, etc. Okay. Right now, probably this is the idea. Okay. I just wanted to do some smudging there to make it little softer. Hard edges are not that good always. You should have probably some mix of hard and softer edges. Some reflection for the trees. These are some foliages for the trees. Okay, these are some foliages for the trees, and again, very rough suggestion. Not a beautiful approach. I'm not looking for something that should look very pretty, but that is suggestive enough. Okay, so that you get the idea clear. If you want to port this into a bigger scale work, you can do this. See, if you can do these kind of works, you will do a lot of learning, because you can complete the work in a lesser amount of time. Since it is something random that you are working, you are not too much worried about controlling the watercolors, not too much worried about the final result. And if your idea comes out well, you get a unique piece of art that you can develop onto a bigger scale. Usually I don't do this much of overworking. I'm tending to work a little tight. I think I shouldn't have done this much. Okay, I shouldn't be doing this much details. Anyway, if you make a stroke and start, and in the middle you cannot stop, you have to somehow complete it. So that seems to be a bunch of lean trees. Okay. Now I think we had the initial idea of some figures there. So I'm getting some thicker pigment and suggesting some figures. This is a drawing figure is little bit tricky. If you try to draw figures very precisely, you will tend to fail. So I'm just giving some suggestion for the figures. Somebody is standing on that extended piece of rock there, and maybe maybe there is another guy to whom there are two people basically I wanted to say. Ideally I prefer, rather than making two people, I always prefer to make three, okay, to have some, to break the symmetry, or it is generally told that making odd number of elements are better, but in this one I'm not finding a suitable place for a third element, so since it's just an idea, I will stop with two figures. No, I'm not finding a suitable place for a third. Now I'm making some direct white to suggest some reflection of light on the light hitting area of the, because usually the top of the head and the shoulder will reflect some light in that particular position. The light is coming from top little, right? So some of the top of the rock will also have some light reflection. Some water ripples will have light reflected. So I'm making some white strokes to show the effect of light. You could do this with orange color also, little bit of yellowish orange color also. But since it's an idea, I'm just trying it with white. This could be treated as an opaque, because whites are treated as opaque in watercolors. But I feel it gives usually interesting effect, and it is a tiny bit of white that we are using at the end. That should be fine. It is watercolors, not gouache or any other medium. This is purely watercolor. Okay, you sign it once you think it is done. So I am signing it in the top left, bottom left, and the final moment of taking the tab. Now this is the work, the finished work. I would say this is the finished idea. So we got an idea, and you can ponder over it and decide if this is worth taking it to a bigger scale. If you think it is, you can always make alteration. You don't have to keep it as it is. This now gives a good suggestion, some play of light, etc., and the figures at the center, they all make sense. Okay, so I think that was the idea, and we are done with that idea now. Hope this was informative. Thanks for watching, and happy painting for you. Okay, thank you. See you in next class.